Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be making vegetable gyros at home. Basically, I just made my yeast mixture and I let it double in size. And now I'm adding my different spices. In the description below, I will put the recipe that I used. I didn't have all of the seasonings that this recipe required, but I had most of them. So just use what you got. So to this yeast mixture, I added my flour and my seasonings and some Greek yogurt. You can really use whatever yogurt you want. You just want to make sure there's no flavor to it. Some salt. I should say that this mixture also comes together really quickly. Probably in total it was maybe 10 minutes. Most of that time included just letting my yeast proof, and when you mix it, it comes together really quickly. And then what I did is I turned my oven on to the lowest setting that I could, let it heat up, and then I turned it off, and then I let it rise in my oven for about half an hour. Okay, there's my yogurt. So what I had was some organic Greek yogurt, which is delicious, but if you just had regular plain yogurt, that would be fine too. And I added about a 3/4 cup into that. And some olive oil. And give that a really good mix. And also, I should mention, I have made this recipe this week at least 2 or 3 times. It's super inexpensive and it stretches. You can make more than gyros with it too. This particular day I made a vegetable gyro, and then the next day I had some chicken I needed to use up, and that worked really well on this too. So basically in total I probably used about 5 cups of flour. In this recipe you use 3 3/4 cup flour, and you just add a little bit of flour at a time until it's not sticky. And you don't really want to overmix either. This is not really a typical bread recipe where you just keep kneading and kneading and kneading. It's a very soft and squishy dough, and so basically you just add enough flour to where it's not super sticky, but it can still be a little bit hydrated as well. And I'll kind of show you in a second when this is done, kind of what it's going to look like when it's all done. As you can see, it's kind of sticking to my hands a little bit, so I just add a little bit more flour, just a little bit at a time, probably a tablespoon at a time. And as you can see, it's still just a tiny bit sticky, but it comes together really quickly, and it's a really easy forgiving dough. And this is what I'm going to be putting in the gyros. I'm just going to roast some peppers and some onions. This is kind of a cool way to cut up a pepper where you get all of the part off that you can eat. And the center will be going to my chickens or my yard debris. So this particular night, obviously I made a vegetable gyro and just roasted them in the oven. But you could do chicken, you could do beef, you could do lamb, you could do more vegetables than what I did. You could do some spinach. Basically, I have my oven preheat at 400, and I'm just going to do a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper, nothing too crazy. And it's just a really pretty color. Alright, we're going to put this in the oven for probably about 20 to 25 minutes. So I did not have a grater to make my tzatziki sauce. And so I just took a vegetable peeler and peeled away the cucumber that I needed. Hey, use what you got, right? If, typically gyros, you use this cucumber sauce as kind of your spread on top of your gyro. But if you're not really into cucumber, just use a little bit of sour cream, or you could even just use a little bit of mayo. I call these ribbons of deliciousness. So onto a generously floured surface, you're going to take about a palmful amount and roll it in the flour, and then I'm going to show you 2 examples of shapes that you can do with this dough. So here I'm showing you the long ways, and basically you're going to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch thick. And then kind of alternating them onto each other so they don't stick. And then here I'm going to show you how to make them the round way. Just turning it and turning it until you get the desired shape that you want. And again, plenty of flour so it's not sticking. And then before you fry in a pan, you can kind of dust that off. You're going to be using a fairly high heat cast iron pan. You're going to kind of switch between like a medium high. And then you're going to be flipping it about a minute on each side, flattening as you go. And using oil so that it doesn't stick. And there you have it. I added some goat cheese feta and some lettuce at the end, and these turned out perfectly. I hope you enjoy, and thank you for joining me.